I've got another review for you guys. I finished this last night, and I thought, since this is a John Green book, I thought I'd do a review of all the John Green books I've read. Only 3, so shouldn't really say all, because I still have 2 to read. But this review is called An Abundance of Stars in Alaska. See what I did there? See? Yeah, so it is a book review of all 3. It's a book review of Looking for Alaska, The Fault in Our Stars, and An Abundance of Katherines, in case you didn't get that from the title. But I'm going to do them in the order that I read them. Here's the first review. This is Looking for Alaska, obviously by John Green, as I already mentioned. I really love John Green, and you will see in all these reviews I will rave about his writing. He is such a good author, and he has so many quotable lines in his books. Like Alaska says, when you look in my room, you see a girl that loves books, and that's exactly what I want my room to be like. I want someone to look in my room and know I like books. So, and also, there's another line, if people were rain, I was drizzle, and she was a hurricane. I love that line. It's about a guy called Miles Holter, Pudge, who goes to a boarding school in seeking the great haps. He meets his 2 best friends, Alaska Young, and I forget his guy friend's name. Can't remember. Can't be bothered to look. So, yeah, he meets Alaska Young, and it is shown in a very original format. Like, this is the before part, and then every chapter is like 136 days before, and I think that's such a good beginning to a chapter, because it makes you want to read into the after part, which is about in the middle, I think, but it makes you want to know what's after. It makes you want to guess. Like, the whole time I was guessing what was going to be the after, and I didn't guess it correctly until really, really close to it happening. And John Green has the ability to make me cry a lot, like more than any other author ever has. I thought The Notebook was bad. John Green is worse. But yeah, I love the characters in this, especially Alaska, even though you see her through Pudge's eyes, which is kind of hard, because he sees her like as perfect and everything he's ever wanted and stuff. She has a lot of flaws, and that's good, and you don't really get much description of her, so I like it that you can picture her how you want. I think you get teeny tiny bits, but you don't get a lot, which I love. I like that in some books that you don't get a lot of description, because sometimes you don't need it. I think this is going to be a short review of this book, because 1, I read it a long time ago, and 2, I have 3 reviews to do in this video, and I can't make them all the same amount of time as I normally make them. But I do have a full review of this on my blog, so I will link that down below. So, I think that's it for this book, but I love this book. It instantly became one of my favourite books after I read it, so that's good. So the next book I'm going to talk about by John Green is one I'm sure you all have heard about, because it's one of his most popular. It is The Fault in Our Stars, obviously, by John Green. What can I say about this book? It's so, it makes me want to cry just thinking about Hazel and Augustus, and if you want proof, just ask Harry how engaged with this book I was when I was reading it, because he'll tell you I was at his house for a barbecue with his family, and I ignored everybody and read this book. So thanks for making me antisocial, John Green. But this book, it is about Hazel, who had she has some sort of lung cancer. Can't remember which one. I don't remember if there was a specific type or something, but she has lung cancer, and her mom makes her go to this cancer support group because she thinks it'll make her feel better, because she thinks she's suffering from depression, which Hazel says is a side effect of dying, not it's not its own thing. It's a side effect of dying. which I think is really funny. She's really clever. She meets Isaac, who has some sort of eye cancer, and then Augustus, who I think he has some bone cancer. I know he has a prosthetic leg, obviously. Has been a while since I read this, even though I love it so much. So, she meets them, and they are a really weird group. They're cool. They're an amazing group. They all understand each other because they all have some sort of cancer that is ruining their lives, and it's horrible. Really at the beginning of the book, Isaac has to have an operation to remove his eyes and go blind because that's the only way to cure him of his cancer. I don't know even what I can say about this. It's mostly about the love story between Augustus and Hazel, and it is so sweet. It is the sweetest thing in the world. I love the line where he says, "I like looking at beautiful things, and I am not in the business of denying myself things that bring me pleasure." Something like that to Hazel. And because she asks why he's staring at her, and that's what he says. I think that is so cute. And he's always saying, when she asks if he's okay, he always says, "On my roller coaster zone, it goes up, my friend." And I think he is so cool. I love him so much. This book. I don't even know what to say. Read it. You just need to read it. Then you'll understand. Then you can message me and I will talk to you about it all day. But I don't know what to say right now, and I have to condense this into a tiny short review. So I have a full review on my blog again. Link it down below. And my next review will be on An Abundance of Katherines. Again, John Green. Excuse the sticky notes. These are quotes I like and stuff I can talk about and things I want to look back on when I read this, because it is so good that I'm definitely rereading this. So it's about a guy called Colin who is a child prodigy, and his dad is hell-bent on making him a genius. He gets dumped by his 19th girl he has dated named Catherine, and that is 19th girl with the name Catherine that he has dated, not 19th girl whose name was Catherine. He has dated 19 girls named Catherine, and they've all broken up with him. And that's just his type. Everybody has a type. Colin's type is girls named Catherine. They can be as different as can be, but they all have to be named Catherine. So his friend Hassan, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it. His friend Hassan suggests they go on a road trip to take his mind off Catherine 19. And that's what they do. They end up in Gutshot, Tennessee, where they meet Lindsay, who I love. I love Lindsay. And her friends, as well as the other Colin, who is Lindsay's boyfriend, and is simply named in this TOC, standing for the other Colin, which I love. It is filled with these little footnotes. I will show you one. Like this footnote is a Venn diagram. It says, to put it Venn diagram, I can't say that word. Colin would have argued that in the world looked like this. Interesting people in one circle, and in another circle that is not overlapped, celebrity living people. I love John Green's Venn diagram. You see that in the Fault in Our Stars as well. Now, I've read this last night, and I read the other two before I started watching John and Hank on YouTube, so I think it was a really different experience for me reading this after I have watched his videos, because I can hear how much of himself is in this. Like, he says things in this that I've heard him say in his videos. Like Hassan calls Sitzklinker, which is German for wimp, but if you literally translate it, it is a man who stands to pee. He has said this on his channel, and Colin also explains it in one of his footnotes, which I laughed at because it's so funny that I think if I reread both of those books I would also see things that were like this, but it was a good experience to see that. I loved Lindsay, and I loved Colin. I hated the other Colin. He was a douche. Just hated him. But the characters were so good and so well developed, and I love how John Green writes such intellectual teenage characters. It didn't make me cry. Thank you, John Green, for writing a book that didn't make me cry for once. But I could have easily cried if I'd let myself. I just love everything. I love how smart he is. I love all the math in it, because he tries to come up with a theorem where he can predict how romantic relationships between two people are going to go. He does this for the 19 Katherines. He tries to figure it out for the 19 Katherines, make it work for them. I won't tell you if he figures that out. Just read the book, then you'll know. And they start working for Lindsay's mom, Hollis. She doesn't call her mom, she calls her mom Hollis. So they start working for her, and a lot of things are revealed about Gutshot in this book. John Green is such a good writer. Just read him. Really, just read him. Again, can't do a massive review, but I will write one on my blog, so I will link that as soon as that review's up as well. Not up at the minute, but it should be up by the time this video is up, so link that down below. So, that is my John Green book review, An Abundance of Stars in Alaska. And I just want to show you something that I'm extremely happy about. These are all the UK editions, obviously, because I'm from the UK, of these books. They all match, and I love that. The only thing I'm hating is that Will Grayson matches, but Paper Towns doesn't. Hopefully they will come up with a cover for Paper Towns too, so that one matches as well, hopefully. But if they don't, it's John Green, so I don't care. But I just think these look really cool together in my shelf. So, I'll see you next time. Goodbye.